Hi, this is Sod from the Scoundrel's Cantina, and welcome to another episode of a Star Wars story. In this video, I'll be telling you the story of a member of the Sith Triumvirate, the Lord of Hunger, Darth Nihilus. He's most notably seen in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lord's game. Also, we're mixing the expanded universe and canon as always, so let's begin. Darth Nihilus was a human male who reigned as the Dark Lord of the Sith during the era of strife following the Jedi Civil War. Before becoming a Sith Lord, he lost everything during the Galactic Republic's war against the Mandalorian Neo-Crusaders. He survived the activation of the Mass Shadow Generator superweapon during the war's final battle at the planet of Malachor V, which surrounded the planet with the destructive spatial phenomenon known as the Mass Shadow. Experiencing the shadow that wiped out almost everything on and around the planet made Nihilus crave Force energy. The affliction painfully ravaged his body while rendering him a wound in the Force. A wound in the Force was a type of catastrophic disturbance in the Force, which was a weakness in the fabric of the Force, caused by a traumatic event. The Force existed in all life, and when many lives were extinguished, especially in a short period of time, a wound was created. He was found by a seeker of wounds, the Sith Lord Darth Traya, who told him that she could teach him to feed his endless hunger. He accepted her offer of apprenticeship at the Traya's Academy on Malachor V, and, over time, he became one of the three concurrent Dark Lords of the Sith. Together, they formed the Triumvirate with Traya at its head, and her other apprentice, Darth Sion, as the third member. The trio chose individual names for themselves, with Darth Nihilus becoming the Lord of Hunger. The apprentices grew in strength during their training and eventually overpowered their master. Sion defeated Traya, while Nihilus sapped her energy before the two Sith exiled her and combined their powers to sever her ties to the Force. Nihilus's affliction developed to the point where the Dark Lord of the Sith was forced to call upon the dark side of the Force to encase his spirit within his mask and armor to stay alive. Sion and Nihilus then began a Jedi purge, causing the virtual extinction of the Jedi Order. Nihilus was responsible for the devastation of the planet KOTOR in 3952 BBY, killing and absorbing the Force energy of the Jedi at the Conclave on KOTOR, along with every other living thing in the world, save one Miraluka woman named Visas Mar. Mar was collected from the surface, and Nihilus began to train her as his shadow hand. 1 year later, Nihilus sensed a growing presence in the Force and sent out Mar to eliminate it. That presence was a female Jedi, Mitra Surik, who was on a quest to find the few Jedi Masters who had survived the Purge. When Mar attempted to assassinate the woman, Surik defeated her and convinced her to turn to the light side of the Force in the process. Although Nihilus returned to lurking the fingers of known space, the man was eventually tricked by Traya into initiating the Battle of Telos 4 in an attempt to absorb a Jedi Academy that actually lacked any Force sensitives aside from the headmistress. Nihilus met a large fleet comprised of Republic and Mandalorian forces at Telos that distracted him while his flagship, the Ravager, was secretly boarded by a small force consisting of Surik, Mar, Mandalore the Preserver, and his Mandalorians. The trio confronted and slew Nihilus in the ensuing duel, while the Mandalorians rigged explosives that destroyed the ship. The Sith Lord's armor maintained his spirit and was collected for burial in the Sith homeworld of Korriban, where his soul could be connected with a holocron of his own creation. Now I'm going to go over Darth Nihilus' powers and abilities due to the fact that he is a wound in the Force and is capable of extraordinary feats and is one of the most powerful Sith during the Old Republic. Darth Nihilus fought with his lightsaber in an aggressive, one-handed style similar to Vader. He learned some of the greatest Sith techniques, but such practices took the form of dependence. They would make him stronger, but only for a time, and he would have to feed upon Force energy to replenish his strength. For this reason, Force sensitives and worlds rich in the Force would draw him. His reach in the Force eventually extended to a point where he can feel Force users through the galaxy and would eventually find them and cleanse entire planets on which they were on, killing everything with the Force. Prolonged use of this power made him a threat to all life, and his craving grew more intense with each feeding. Eventually, Nihilus's hunger controlled him, and not the other way around. The Sith Lord would instinctively feed upon those around him, slowly killing them. Nihilus's very speech caused pain and death to all who heard it, and those who served him became utter slaves in time. Darth Nihilus was adept in many aspects of the Force. He could use the Force to lift entire starships, as he did on Malachor V with the Ravager. He also held the Ravager together with the Force while it traveled through space, because without his power, the ship would simply fall apart. Through the Force, Darth Nihilus was able to escape death by containing his consciousness in his armor. He was also proficient in Dark Rage, Farsight, Force Lightning, Force Resistance, Force Scream, Force Whirlwind, and Dark Healing. His knowledge also extended to Sith Alchemy, and he could also increase the strength of his Force powers if he wanted to. Anyway guys, this is it on the story of Darth Nihilus, and I hope you all enjoyed it and learned something new about the vast galaxy of Star Wars. If you want to support this channel, hit that subscribe button for even more videos like this one. And remember guys, God is awesome, may the Force be with you always, and bring your creds back anytime, you rebel scum.
This party's over.